Hopefully, before you start watching this video, you've already played around with the Animate stacks, and maybe you've watched that video also. You'll know that there are 3 stacks that ship with Foundation 6. There is the Animate Click, Hover, and Scroll. Now, if you want to go to the next level, you will use the Animate Swatches that come with the Swatch pack. And you'll see these here. We have an Animate Scroll Swatch, an Animate Click Swatch, and an Animate Hover Swatch. And you will use these instead of the stacks that come with Foundation 6. Now, what's the difference? These swatches are a little bit different in that you can create an animation once and assign that class to as many elements as you want. Whereas in the stacks, you actually have to add the stack and configure the animation on each individual element. In this example, I'm going to re-implement what we did with the animation stacks in our previous video with the ones done with the Animate Swatches that come with the Swatch pack. So in this example, I created 3 different animations, and we're going to assign that animation directly to some images. So here I actually have 3 different Animate Scroll stacks. I have Animate Scroll Left, Animate Scroll Middle, and Animate Scroll Right. And what I've done here is I've added that class, Animate Scroll Left, to this left picture stack. Because I configure that Animate Scroll Left to animate in from the left side of my page. And then if I do Animate Scroll Middle, that just kind of animates directly into the page from behind or up or down, okay? And then the one on the right, I've configured that animation to animate in from the right side of the page. And what's great is further down on the page, I can then just duplicate that. Let's have a look. So we see on page load how this icon over here on the left animated in, this one animated up from the middle, and this one over here animated in from the right. And if we scroll down the page, you'll see that we have that same exact animation here. I didn't need to duplicate these. All I needed to do was assign the classes to these elements, and I only needed to have those Animate Swatches on this page one time. And if we look at this animation a little bit further, you'll notice that before the stacks actually scroll off the page, they actually animate nicely off the page. And as we come down, we have some different animations that go the opposite direction as we scroll down the page. And if we keep going up, we'll notice that they actually animate off the page as well. They kind of fade off. So we can really create nice, consistent animations on our web pages. So let's have a look at the settings for the Animate Scroll stack. Here, I'm simply defining a class that I'm going to assign this animation to. So in this case, we have Animate Scroll Left. Now, next, we have the ability to define a trigger. Now, these options actually are not inside the Animate stacks. These are something special just for the Animate Swatches. And what this allows us to do, we can actually define the exact position where the animations start and end. And if we would like to preview these, we can actually go ahead and say Show Markers in Preview. And what we'll notice here is those markers will display on the web page so that we know exactly when those animations are going to be triggered. So let's scroll down the page, and we'll see as soon as this start animation block hits the scroller start, the animation begins. And it's going to, as soon as the end block reaches the scroller end, the end animation is going to begin. And then as I scroll back down, the animate in back is going to start once the end reaches the scroller end. And then on the flip side, when the start reaches the scroller start, the animation out back is going to start. Now, I made these particular endpoints very visible. You might want them a little bit closer, to the top or the bottom in a real world situation. But I did this here so we can really see where the animations are stopping and ending. Now, next up, just like in the Animate stack itself, we have the ability to define different animations for when the animation goes in, out from the top of the browser, back in from the top of the browser, and back out at the bottom of the browser, okay? And just like the other Animate stacks, you can animate once, animate infinite, and then do custom timing as well. Now the click and hover are very simple. Just like the animation scroll, we can actually apply a class. Here I'm doing click bounce, and on the hover, I'm doing hover shake. Okay, and you'll notice that on hover shake, I'm doing the animation of shake. And then on click, I'm doing the animation of bounce. And if we look further down on the page, on the on hover effects, all I did is I added that hover shake class to these pictures. And then on these two pictures, I added the click bounce class. And we'll see those effects here as soon as I hover over these particular ones, we have the same exact animation on both. And on the click, we get the nice bounce animation. So again, these are reusable animation swatches that you can add to whatever you want. And please go ahead and download this project file so you can play around with it. It's available on the Foundation product page.